Discover the incredible story that transformed 1 million lives and healed broken hearts forever. Emma's heart raced as she stood outside the crumbling walls of the community center, her lifeline. The scent of fried food from the diner down the street mingled with the bittersweet aroma of old memories. This was where Jake took his first steps in the world of baseball, and where she shared laughs with neighbors over bingo nights. Now, the center was on the verge of being sold, and darkness loomed over their small Midwestern town. Frustration boiled inside her. She imagined losing this sacred space where laughter echoed and dreams flourished. Emma was a fighter. She had to be. Working 2 jobs wasn't easy, but she'd do anything for Jake, her spark. She had one dream: to give him a life beyond the grease and grime of their town. Yet, as her resolve strengthened, she felt Jake slip away. This fight meant everything, but the deeper she lost herself in it, the more her son rebelled against the shadows left behind. "Mommy, can we please go to the fair instead?" Jake pleaded, his blue eyes sparkling with defiance. "Just a bake sale, honey," she responded, a tightness building in her chest. "We're saving our community center." But her words fell flat as they both felt the distance stretch between them. Memories flooded back, and Emma thought of Mr. Thompson, the wise old veteran next door. His tales were like anchors in a storm, grounding her when everything felt adrift. If only she could channel his wisdom and rally the townsfolk, she thought. They were proud, resilient people who loved their community. But the wealthy newcomer kept throwing doubts into the mix, turning neighbors against each other with whispers of progress. One afternoon, the sun glinted off the bake sale table, sweet aromas filling the air. Generations gathered, their connection palpable, sharing cherished recipes that had been passed down. Laughter intertwined with stories of hardship, and hope flickered brightly. Yet the newcomer appeared, smug and unyielding. "This place? It's outdated," he scoffed, making the locals bristle. "A smart investment is worth more." Emma's heart raced as she watched doubt seep into the crowd. Whispers traveled like wildfire, igniting fear and division. "Stand up, fight back," she shouted, but her voice wavered. Suddenly, Jake shouted from the sidelines, rebellion spilling out. "It's just a stupid building." His words were raw, an eruption of frustration. Emma's heart sank, torn between the burgeoning fight for her community and the aching bond with her son. Before we continue, Emma caught the crowd's eye. "I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. Tension crackled as the community's spirit began to teeter. The stakes soared: save the center or lose Jake. With the showdown at Town Hall approaching, Emma stood at a precipice. How could she stand up for her dreams while mending the rift with her son? Jake's outburst replayed in her mind, his voice drowning out the chants and cheers from townsfolk demanding justice. As she prepared for the battle ahead, an unexpected visitor approached. Would this newcomer bear news of loss or the key to restore everything she held dear? Emma's heart raced, caught between hope and despair, leaving her and the town on the brink of an impossible choice. Emma's heart pounded louder as she caught sight of the tall figure stepping out from the shadows of the trees lining the community center. Who was this newcomer? There was an air of authority around him, a mix of confidence and disdain that made Emma's stomach twist. She turned to the gathered crowd, faces filled with uncertainty and fear, and felt a wave of protectiveness surge through her as he drew closer. Their eyes met. "I'm here to talk about the future of this building," he said, his tone smooth yet cutting. "I believe it's time for this town to embrace progress. Change can be good." Gasps rippled through the crowd like raindrops on a pond. Emma's teeth clenched. "This isn't just a building. It's our home, our memories," she shouted, her voice shaking but firm. "It's where we came together when things got tough. Our lives are tied to these walls." The man smirked, glancing back at his sleek car parked nearby, a stark contrast to the peeling paint and rust of the center. Look, I understand sentimentality, but what about growth? This town could be something more, something better. Your future depends on adaptability. Emma's fists formed into tight balls at her sides. And what about the future of our children? They need spaces to learn and play, to grow together. She shot back, her heart aching with a mix of fury and desperation. Behind her, she felt Jake's small hand grip her own. She turned and saw him standing, his little face scrunched in confusion, wrestling with emotions she feared he didn't quite understand yet. "Mom, this isn't just about a building, is it?" he whispered, his voice barely above a breath. "No, sweetheart, it's bigger than that," she replied, despite the knot tightening in her chest. She forced a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. The townspeople were shifting, glancing at one another, weighing their loyalty to Emma against this newcomer's vision of a shiny new future. A smattering of murmurs bubbled up. Uncertainty was creeping in, threatening to drown out Emma's efforts. "Vote for progress in our town," the newcomer proclaimed, confidently surveying the crowd. "Investments mean jobs, revitalization. You have to see that the world has moved on. Your little traditions can't hold back the tide forever." Emma took a deep breath, steeling herself. She had to channel the strength Mr. Thompson once shared with her. "You may call it progress, but I call it erasing who we are. Our stories span decades. This community fought for this space, poured love and hard work into it. We're not about to let it go without a fight." Her words drew cheers. The air grew electric, but beneath the excitement was a simmering fear. She turned to find Mr. Thompson in the crowd, leaning on his cane, nodding in agreement. "Emma, does it matter that I'm old? No, I remember what this place means. Will you remember too?" he called out, his voice trembling but determined. As she looked back at Jake, searching for a hint of understanding in his eyes, she realized there was no turning back now. The stakes weren't just about the community center. They were about laying a foundation for his future, rooted in shared love and history. But just as Emma began to feel hope ignite within her, the newcomer raised a hand to silence the crowd, a devious smile creeping across his face. "Let me tell you about a little secret I found out about someone very close to you." At those words, Emma's heart lurched. The tension in the air hardened like steel. What did he know? Fear gripped her as she looked around at the anxious faces surrounding her. What was this revelation going to do to her community, to her family? Emma took a step forward, determined to protect what was her own. But deep down, she felt a shiver of dread, because in that moment, she knew that their world was about to change forever. Yet she had no idea just how much. Her breath hitched as the man continued, relishing the power he held over the crowd. "You see, I've done a little digging," he said, pacing slowly, his voice smooth as silk. "And there's something you might not want the rest of the town to know." Emotions crashed like waves against her resolve. Emma's mind raced. What secret could he be referring to? Had he uncovered something hidden? Something that could tear apart the fabric of their community? Jake's grip tightened on her hand. She could feel his small fingers trembling, mirroring the storm of doubt swirling in her stomach. "Mom, what does he mean?" he whispered, fear washing over his innocent face. "Just stay close, Jake," she replied softly, forcing a brave smile that felt like a mask. She could not let fear snuff out the fire of hope yet. The newcomer's gaze darted around the crowd, scanning their faces, feeding off their anxiety. "How would you feel if I told you that one of your beloved leaders here has been keeping something crucial from you?" He paused, thriving on the tension. "Something that changes everything." Her heart raced again as she felt her pulse quicken. Who was he talking about? Was he referring to Mr. Thompson? Did he know of the town's struggles? Or was it something more personal to Emma? Something that could hurt her family? I propose. His smirk widened, to make a little wager. If I reveal this secret, and you all decide to keep your precious community center, that's fine. But if this secret holds merit, you must consider my proposal seriously. Fair deal, wouldn't you agree? A murmur ran through the crowd, a mix of shock and curiosity. Emma could see that the seeds of doubt were growing among the townspeople. Some began whispering to each other, their minds racing with speculation. She needed to act quickly, to remind them of their shared values, of what truly brought them together. "Stop right there," Emma shouted, her voice breaking through the chaos. "You don't get to tear apart our community with your lies. This place isn't just a structure. It's our gathering ground, our support system, a harbor of memories. We've fought too hard to let you play games with our lives." Silence fell temporarily among the onlookers as they absorbed her words. The air crackled with tension, hearts beating in unison as they remembered all the times the community center had provided solace. "Let us not trade our history for an uncertain future," she continued, her heart pounding in her chest. "What you call progress is just a facade for profit. This place has meaning far beyond the walls." But before she could rally any more support, the newcomer chuckled dismissively. "You're all so naive. I assure you, I will reveal this secret. And when I do, things won't just change. They'll shatter." A knot of panic twisted in Emma's stomach. What if he did? What if the revelation could destroy not only her community but also any semblance of safety for Jake? As she scanned the crowd, she noticed Mr. Thompson moving forward, a look of grave determination etched on his face. Some secrets should stay buried, but when the truth is revealed, it's our choice on how we respond, he called out, voice strong and steady. Emma turned to him, her heart fluttering with a mixture of hope and dread. He understood. He had seen the community thrive against storms before, but in an age of information, could they stand united through the revelations that lay ahead? "Let him speak," Mr. Thompson urged. "We'll face this together, no matter what." Just then, the newcomer's eyes gleamed with anticipation, his smirk widening as he prepared to unveil whatever lie he held against them. Emma's breath caught. This wasn't just about the community center anymore. This was about her family, about everything they held dear. What could the newcomer reveal that would turn their lives upside down? Emma's heart raced, and she felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her. With every heartbeat, the stakes grew higher. Could she protect her family and community from the dark truths waiting to be unleashed? And what would it mean for their future? A future on the brink of ruin? The man's smirk turned into a lingering grin, reveling in the tension he had crafted. He stepped forward, positioning himself just enough to cast a shadow over Emma and Jake. "I think it's time you all hear the truth. Your beloved Mr. Thompson has a past he's been hiding." He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper that slithered into the crowd. "He's been involved in something scandalous. Something that could endanger your precious community." Gasps coursed through the crowd, like a wildfire ignited by a single spark. Emma's heart sank. Mr. Thompson had always been a pillar of support. Was it even possible he had a skeleton lurking in his closet? Questions buzzed like angry bees in her mind, and each one landed painfully, stinging her resolve. "Enough!" Emma shouted, stepping in front of Jake protectively. The intensity in her voice was firm, though her heart raced with anxiety. "We can't let you manipulate us with baseless accusations. If you're going to say something, say it outright." The tension hung thick in the air as the newcomer dismissed Emma with a wave of his hand. "Oh, I have proof, dear Emma. Imagine the headlines. Beloved mayor linked to bribery and corruption. You think it's just rumors? No. I have documents. I have witnesses." He produced a folder, waving it slowly in the air, allowing it to hang there like a prize catch for all to see. A low murmur rippled through the crowd again, suspicion saturating the atmosphere. Emma could feel the belief in their community thin, like a rope fraying after years of being pulled taut. "No!" Emma cried, fury igniting inside her. She caught hold of Jake's hand, squeezing it tight. "We stand together. We know what we've built here, and nothing can change that." The newcomer tilted his head, observing her with amusement. But can you really endure a truth that tears at the very fabric of your unity?" "I'll lay it bare in the next 10 minutes Mr. Thompson's involvement with a real estate mogul looking to profit off your beloved community center." Mr. Thompson's face paled, but he stood firm, his brows furrowed in a mix of concern and determination. "Let him speak," he commanded, his voice booming. "It's a lie if I don't get a chance to defend myself." Emma felt a deep swell of loyalty to Mr. Thompson. He had always been there during crises, always leading with strength tempered by compassion. But could his past be tarnishing that loyalty now? "What is it?" she said, her voice stronger now but still trembling. "What could you possibly say that would make people doubt everything we've fought for?" The newcomer chuckled darkly, savoring the moment. "Well, let me tell you about those hidden contracts and the backroom deals. What would happen if you learned that your team leader has been playing both sides?" Gasps and murmurs rippled anew, growing into a wave of doubt washing over the crowd. It took only a breath for Emma to realize they were swaying, unsure, the very foundation of trust beginning to crack. "Do you see?" he taunted, eyes full of malice. "You were all clinging to a false sense of security. What happens now? How do you move forward from betrayal?" A chill crept up Emma's spine. The sun began to set behind the buildings, casting long shadows that enveloped them all in darkness. She glanced at Jake, his eyes wide with confusion. This was not the world she wanted for him. "Emma," Mr. Thompson shouted, pulling her attention back. "We must stay united. Whatever is said, we can face it together. I promise you that the truth will always find a way, and it's our choice to stand strong against it." But could they really? Could the town weather this scrutiny, this potential betrayal? Emma's heart hammered wildly as uncertainty gripped her. "Let us lay the truth bare then," Emma yelled, trying to channel courage into her voice. "If you've got something to say, say it. Don't hide behind shadows or threats." As she spoke those words, the air crackled with anticipation. The crowd held its breath, waiting for the disclosure they all feared. Emma's heart beat faster, anxiety washing over her as she braced for the unknown. What could the man reveal next that would forever alter their way of life? What if, in this moment, everything they thought they knew about each other was put to the ultimate test? The newcomer leaned back, satisfaction written all over his face. He reveled in the chaos he had brewed, thoughts swirling like autumn leaves caught in a tempest. "How touching," he sneered. "Your commitment to unity will be put to the test now. Let us take a look at these little details, Mr. Thompson and his little secret." Everyone shifted, eyes darting from Emma, whose heart raced with defiance, to Thompson, whose expression had turned from resolve to a mask of concern. "What do you know?" Thompson pressed, his voice steady but his eyes reflecting worry. The silence that felt almost tangible, wrapping around them in a thick shroud. "Right here," the man said, opening the folder with a flourish, displaying a contract that fluttered slightly in the evening breeze. "This," he said, pointing at a yellow document, "is the proof I hold. A contract binding Mr. Thompson and a developer known for buying out community properties for his gain." Emma's breath caught. The faces in the crowd morphed into expressions of disbelief, betrayal rapidly twisting into suspicion. Was this truly happening? The man seemed to revel in the murmurs growing louder, feeding off the fear and doubt. "Look at them," he said, gesturing to the crowd, questioning everything they thought they knew. He raised an eyebrow, scanning the sea of shifting emotions. "Your faith in each other is cracking. He was supposed to be your leader. But now is he just another puppet on somebody else's strings?" Toneless gasps interspersed the murmurs. Emma couldn't bear to look at the faces around her. She felt as if the ground beneath her was collapsing, shifting beneath her unsteady feet. It was as if the solid support of her community was trying to part ways, letting doubt spill through like water slipping through fingers. "Emma!" Jake's voice broke through her swirling thoughts. "What do we do?" His urgency laced with fear tugged at her heart. She noticed his grip tightening on her hand, the warmth becoming increasingly clammy. She needed to stay strong to guide him through this. "Listen," she called out, forcing the crowd's attention. "This is not the moment for division. We cannot make assumptions based on flimsy claims." Her voice held a tremor, but she pushed through. "We know Mr. Thompson. We have seen his actions, his dedication to this community. We need to hear him out." With every word she spoke, Emma felt the determination rising inside her. She could feel something shift like electricity crackling in the air. Could they really stand united against the uncertainty swirling around them? Could their belief in each other outweigh the storm? Come on, she urged the crowd, her desperation bleeding into her plea. If you truly believe in what we've built together, then stand with me. Stand with Mr. Thompson. The glances between the townsfolk began to shift, uncertainty giving way to contemplation. What had once been a tumultuous sea of doubt now resembled a flicker of hope dancing against the darkness. But Emma's heart felt heavy, teetering between fear and determination. And if Mr. Thompson's past is filled with errors, she continued, does that erase all the good he has done? A murmur shifted through the crowd, a ripple of resistance against the newcomer's claims. Perhaps he has made mistakes who hasn't he? Emma pressed, pulling the crowd closer to her words. Let us not forget that every person is more than just their mistakes. We are a community built on second chances. The man's facade flickered as tension mounted, but he quickly regained composure, smirking again. Bold words, Emma. But can you survive the truth when it's presented? The crowd looked back to Thompson, who stood taller now, defiance lighting his eyes. Ask me anything. I will not hide any longer. Emma's heart swelled as she held her breath. They were standing at a precipice, ready to leap into a truth that could change their lives forever. What would emerge from the shadows? Were they ready to confront whatever lay ahead? Just as Emma prepared to urge the crowd to press for answers, the newcomer added softly, I'll see how deep that loyalty runs when the truth is unveiled. What kind of secrets would come to light? Would their faith survive the revelations? The crowd shifted uneasily, unease rippling through like a gust of wind. Emma held her breath, every pair of eyes searching Mr. Thompson for answers, while the sinister smugness of the newcomer hung in the air like a storm cloud. She could hear the rapid beating of her own heart, drowning out the murmurs that filled the gathering space. What does it say? Someone shouted from the back, the urgency forcing Emma to focus on Mr. Thompson. He scanned the faces of the people he had led, been honored by, and she could see the weight of responsibility resting heavily on his shoulders. Please, Thompson began, his words measured and calm yet laced with desperation. I can explain. I've made mistakes, but I have always fought for this town. I need you to trust that my intentions were never to hurt anyone. Trust? The newcomer interjected, his voice dripping with sarcasm. That word is so easily tossed around. I senti it, especially when you're the one holding all the cards. He leaned closer, his eyes glinting with malicious glee. But trust must be earned, and I fear Mr. Thompson has lost all of yours. Emma saw doubt creeping back into the eyes of her neighbors. She felt the atmosphere shift, shadows enveloping her community, their bonds stretching unnaturally tight. Don't let him tear us apart, she shouted, her voice raw with emotion. This is what he wants, to sow discord and flourish in our fear. What are you hiding? Someone yelled, the question slicing through the tension. It was a simple inquiry, but one with the weight of 1,000 doubts behind it. Thompson's face paled as the reality of the moment sunk in. I can't deny that I signed a contract, he confessed, every word painstakingly drawn out. But I believed it was a way to protect our land, to ensure funding for community projects. I had no idea that it could become something uglier. Uglier? The newcomer's voice raised in mock surprise. What a euphemism! Emma saw fear flash across her community's faces. They could either hold onto their leader or risk letting go completely. It was as if the very air between them had thickened, electrifying the very fabric of their collective existence. Listen, please, Emma pleaded, her voice now softer, more intimate. We've built something strong here, haven't we? All those festivals, the families brought together, the countless hands that helped rebuild after the storm. Isn't that worth fighting for? Jake squeezed her hand tighter, his nervous energy almost palpable. We can't let this one moment define who we are, he added, finding his voice. If we turn on each other now, we lose everything. Some murmurs of agreement echoed back, but the newcomer saw his chance. Can you even trust him to lead you? Is that really all it takes? Just a pretty speech? Emma was desperate now. She had to turn this wave of doubt back to belief. Yes, it takes more than words. It takes unity. It takes courage to face the truth together. The newcomer leaned back with a roll of his eyes. Ah, but if I reveal Mr. Thompson's truth, what then? Will that courage vanish? Thompson flinched at the implications, but Emma stepped forward. What do you want from us? What are you after? If you have the evidence, let us see it. The newcomer's smirk hung in the air, a challenge beckoning. Fine, I'll reveal it. But don't say I didn't warn you. The fallout can be catastrophic. Just remember, you asked for this. Tension clung to the moment as everyone waited, hearts racing and breaths held. What was he about to unveil? Were they truly prepared to face the truths that could tear their foundation apart? As silence engulfed them, Emma's heart thundered in her chest, and one haunting question echoed in her mind. What would they find at the end of this road, and could their unity survive it? The newcomer straightened, relishing the suspense. With a flick of his wrist, he produced a crumpled sheet of paper, holding it up for the crowd to see. Look closely, folks. This is your beloved Mr. Thompson's signature. It's not just a contract. It's a betrayal of everything you hold dear. Gasps swept through the crowd, a wave of disbelief rippling as neighbors exchanged glances filled with confusion and betrayal. Emma felt Jake's grip tighten, his knuckles turning white. Mr. Thompson, the man continued, smirking, has sold your lands to a corporation. They plan to turn your beloved park into a massive shopping complex. All those festivals you cherish? Gone. History. A murmur of outrage erupted, like a poorly tuned choir breaking into cacophony. Emma's heart sank as she caught glimpses of sorrow and rage painted across familiar faces. They had worked so hard. All for what? To see their home discarded for profit? Thompson stepped forward, desperation etched across his features. No, you have to believe me. I signed it to buy time, to negotiate a better deal. His voice trailed off, each word lost under the growing storm of dissent. Time? Someone shouted from the back, the tremor of accusation clear. Time for what? To line your pockets? You've played us all for fools. Emma looked from person to person, her heart hammering in her chest. She saw the disbelief, the anger. If this kept going, their community would fracture right then and there like brittle glass shattering under pressure. We need to hear both sides, she called out, her voice trembling but firm. Let him explain. The newcomer dismissed her efforts with a wave of his hand, stepping closer to Thompson with each word. What else do you have to say, Mr. Mayor? Is your legacy just a web of lies? The venom in his voice resonated, further fueling the flames. It's not a lie. Thompson's voice cracked, a breathless plea. I truly believed this was the only way to protect what we have. The town needed new funding, and this was the best offer on the table at the time. But I should have been more transparent. His voice fell, as if the enormity of his admission choked him. Emma saw tears glisten in some of her neighbors' eyes, torn between their loyalty to Thompson and the shock of betrayal. We can't let this be the end. Emma cried, her heart quaking with emotion. This is not who we are, is it? A few people nodded, hesitantly, as uncertainty danced in the air. Emma could see the flicker of hope struggling against the chaos. We can fight back together. If they think they can take our home, they don't understand the strength of our community. The energy shifted slightly, a subtle glimmer of resolve sparking amongst a few faces. But the newcomer, sensing this crack, leaned in even closer, his voice low and persuasive. And what if I told you these plans are being discussed as we speak? That your neighbors are part of the sellout, too? You really want to gamble your faith on a half-hearted leader? Emma felt the blood drain from her face. The newcomer couldn't be telling the truth. Could he? Our unity is what they want to destroy, she shouted. Don't let them win by tearing us apart. But doubt lingered in the air, creeping like shadows. Some murmured about standing back, some about circling their wagons. Would they band together or would they splinter? As the tension mounted, Emma's thoughts raced. If they didn't act now, would her community unravel forever? Could they truly face whatever darkness lay hidden at the heart of the newcomer's accusations? In the charged silence, one question emerged, hanging midair like an unsteady chandelier. What hidden truths could break them apart, and would they be strong enough to survive the impending storm? Emma's heart raced as the quiet grew heavier, a storm of uncertainty brewing among her friends and neighbors. She scanned the crowd, searching for familiar faces, those she had shared laughter and joy with during summer picnics and holiday celebrations. Now, they looked like strangers caught in the middle of an unraveling nightmare. Is it true? Someone whispered from near the front. Are we truly losing the park? Maybe we should listen to him. Another voice added, trembling with doubt. No, Emma shouted, desperation in her voice. She stepped forward, her determination firing her nerve. Mr. Thompson may have made mistakes, but he loves this town just as much as we do. We can't let fear drive us apart. The newcomer raised an eyebrow, clearly enjoying the turmoil. Love? Is that what you call this betrayal? A misguided love? You think this man cares more about you than his own wallet? Stop it, Emma cried, struggling to regain control. We owe it to ourselves to hear all the facts. If there are other players at work, let us bring them to light. Thompson seemed to draw courage from her words, straightening just a bit more, his eyes shining with gratitude and regret. I can fight this, he said, voice steadier now. I can fight for all of us, but I can't do it alone. The crowd heard him, but doubts still simmered. Emma felt like she was standing on the edge of a cliff, trying to pull her community back from a fall. We've weathered storms together before, she urged, her voice rising above the rumble of concern. This town was built on connection, on trust, and on standing up for each other. Let us gather our voices, share our fears, and challenge these lies together. Suddenly, a child's voice rang out, high and clear. Mom, are we really going to lose the swings? The little girl stood clinging to her mother's side, eyes wide and innocent. If everyone else had lost sight of what this was really about, she hadn't. The crowd fell quiet, a wave of nostalgia washing over them. Memories flooded back, laughter on that playground, the smell of freshly cut grass during Sunday barbecues, the joy of community parades marching through their beloved town square. Emma knelt down beside the girl, meeting her gaze. No, we're not going to let that happen. Promise. We're going to fight for the swings, for the festivals, for everything that makes us who we are. Encouraged by the exchange, people began to murmur agreement. One by one, small gestures of solidarity floated through the crowd. A nod here, a hand on a shoulder there. But the newcomer wasn't finished yet. You really think you can win this? Do you know what you're up against? His smug tone turned urgent, slicing through the newly revived hope. You might just be surprised by who's backing me. Tension threaded back into the air like an electric current. Emma's stomach twisted. There was something more, an undercurrent that hinted at secrets buried deeper than she had imagined. As he stepped back, a smirk playing at the corners of his mouth, Emma turned to Thompson. We need a plan. We need to know the truth. A flicker of determination ignited in Thompson's eyes, and for the first time, he allowed himself a small nod. Let us gather everyone tonight. We can't just react, we need to strategize. Emma felt hope surge within her again, but the newcomer's parting words haunted her. Was the darkness spreading through their community too deep? Would they be ready to face what lurked beyond the surface? What powerful forces could conspire against them? A chilling thought seized her. What if this was just the beginning? The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows along Main Street as Emma drifted back home. Her heart still thudded in time with the energy of the crowd, but now doubt crept in, tugging at her hope. What if they were outmatched? What if they lost not just the park, but the very fabric of their community? Fighting against her worries, she focused on the vision of families swinging on the playground, children laughing in the summer sun. She had to believe it would still be there. But lingering questions kept nipping at her heels. Who was backing the newcomer? What did they want? As Emma stepped inside her modest home, the familiar scent of cinnamon from the candle burning on the kitchen counter filled her lungs. It offered a thin veneer of comfort against the storm brewing inside her mind. She needed support, allies who would not only stand by her but also investigate the shadows that threaten their community. After a quick dinner that she hardly tasted, Emma grabbed her phone and sent a group text to close friends. "Meeting tonight at my place. We need to plan. This is serious." Almost immediately, replies flooded in, each one a burst of reassurance. "I'm in and count on me." By the time her friends arrived, her spirits had lifted. Chris, a neighbor with a knack for research, bounced in first, his laptop tucked under his arm. "I have a theory," he announced, giving her a cheeky grin. "And I've got some digging to do." Kelly and Marco arrived next, bringing snacks and warmth. "You know we got your back, right?" Kelly said, her eyes shining. "This town means something to us. We can't let anybody take it away." Emma nodded, the comfort of their presence helping to steady her racing heart. But still, one question weighed heavily on her mind, swirling in the back. Why hadn't T. Thompson faced the newcomer directly? Was he hiding something, or was he simply overwhelmed? They gathered in the living room, snacks piled in the middle like the community spirit they sought to preserve. Chris powered on his laptop, and a series of clicks filled the air as he began to search for clues. "Let us start with city records," he said, brows furrowing in concentration. "There has to be something about recent development plans." As the hours passed, laughter and camaraderie intertwined with serious discussions. They discussed the importance of the park, the history tied to each swing and tree. Every corner of their town held stories, memories woven into the very foundation. But the fun dimmed when Chris remarked, "I found something strange. Their SA developer group linked to this newcomer. Their projects have a reputation and not a good one." The room fell silent as the gravity of his words sank in. Emma's breath caught in her throat. "What do you mean?" She felt a wave of cold wash over her. What were they facing? They've been known to push communities out, build whatever makes the most profit without regard for the people who live there. If they're involved, it could be a fight for our lives. Chris's voice was serious, heavy with the implications. The weight of the truth pressed on Emma's chest. This was bigger than just the park. It was a battle for their home, their way of life. All those memories, they stood at the brink of being erased. Feeling the pull of determination rise within her, Emma stood up, her heart thumping in her chest. "We have to gather everyone. We need to mobilize the entire community. If they're coming for us, we have to be prepared. Together, we can save our town." One by one, her friends nodded, echoing her resolve. But a nagging doubt lingered. How deep did the other side's power run? Who else was involved? The shadows stretched longer outside as dusk turned into night, and Emma couldn't shake the feeling that things were about to get darker. What would it take to bring their community together against such a powerful force? And how far was she willing to go to protect the place she called home? In that moment, as the determination surged within her, a single thought formed. They needed to uncover the truth before it was too late, before fear tore them all apart. As the night deepened, Emma's resolve grew stronger. The flickering lights in her living room reflected the urgency in her heart. They were gathered, but this wasn't just a meeting. It was a rallying cry. Everyone's emotions were raw, and she could see it in their faces, the determination to stand against the tide of greed and betrayal. "Listen up, everyone," Emma said, her voice rising above the scattered murmurs. "This isn't just about a park or a community center anymore. This is about us, our families, and the legacy we want for our children." The room vibrated with energy, as if her words breathed life into the fading embers of doubt. "We've built this community together, brick by brick, and we won't let anyone take it from us." Her voice cracked slightly, but she pressed on, fueled by the fear of losing it all. "We need to come together now. We need to gather as many people as possible. Tomorrow, we'll hold a meeting at the community center. Let us make our voices heard." Kelly stepped forward, her eyes bright with fire. "I'll help organize it. We should spread the word, get everyone involved. They need to know what's really at stake." Marco added, "And I'll reach out to the local media. If we can show the world what's happening here, there's no way this newcomer can just swoop in and take over." Emma felt a rush of hope as her friends rallied around her. They were becoming a force to be reckoned with, not just voices in the dark. They were reclaiming their narrative, building a fortress around their hearts and homes. "We won't just fight back," Chris chimed in, stirring the laptop screen. "We need evidence. Let us document everything: the history of the center, the plans for the park, the very story of this town. And we can't forget Mr. Thompson needs to come clean." At the mention of Thompson, a sobering silence enveloped the room. Emma's heart sank. She worried if they could unite with the man whose actions could have potentially ruined them all, or if betrayal hung like a shadow over their attempt at solidarity. "He has made mistakes, yes," Emma finally said, pinching the bridge of her nose. "But he also fought for this community. It's up to him now to share the truth. If he is innocent, we need that to come to light." She knew her words offered a path to healing, but could she believe it entirely? As night turned to dawn, the group sorted through their ideas and laid out plans, scattered snippets of hope lifting their spirits. They were moving, pushing back against the tide of darkness creeping in. The scent of fresh coffee drifted through the air, the shared laughter and ideas mingling with a renewed sense of purpose. Morning brought the sun breaking through the clouds, illuminating the community center where everything would unfold. Row by row, neighbors filtered in, some hesitant, others fierce with conviction. The energy in the air shifted palpably. Gasps and whispers filled the once familiar space. "Emma!" someone shouted, bringing her focus to the front. The newcomer stood, a smug look plastered on his face, watching it all unfold with satisfaction. Emma straightened her spine. "Enough, everyone. Thank you for coming," she called out, voice steady. "This isn't about division. This is about unity. Today, we will work together to uncover the truth, to share our stories, and to fight for what we love." Cheers erupted from the crowd. She turned towards Thompson, standing at the back, his face a canvas of worry and regret. "Mr. Thompson," Emma said, her heart pounding for him, "it's time to speak. We need to know the truth." There was a stirring in the crowd, eyes darting between Thompson and the newcomer, curiosity and concern dancing across their faces. Thompson began, voice shaking as he stepped forward. "I never wanted to deceive you, but I signed that contract out of desperation. I thought it was the only way to save what we have left. I wanted to protect your families. I assumed I could negotiate a fairer deal." "My friends. We know him," Emma interjected, her voice rising once more. "We've seen his dedication to this town over the years. But we must face this together." "Together," the townsfolk chanted, and Emma felt the electricity swell in the air. With the weight of the moment surrounding them, the newcomer began to feel the tide shift. "Ha! You're all blind. You think you can take on the powers behind this? You're fighting a losing battle. We're not afraid of you," someone shouted from the crowd, and Emma could see the determination reflected in every face. "This is our home, our family." In that chaotic energy, Emma stepped forward and met the newcomer's gaze with fierce confidence. "You may try to tear us apart with your lies and threats, but the roots of this community run deep. We believe in each other." The newcomer faltered, sensing the shift. He glanced around, catching the unity blazing through the room. The crowd surged around Emma and Thompson, embodying the very spirit of their town. Then, slowly but surely, doubt faded. Whispers of solidarity filled the air as the community grew stronger. "We will not be divided," they chorused, and the trembling fear that had plagued them for so long took flight, replaced with faith and commitment to one another. The battle was far from over, but with hearts and voices united, they had taken the first step toward reclaiming their future. Emma exhaled a deep breath, letting the overwhelming relief wash over her. This fight wasn't just for a building, it was for dreams, for love, and for the legacy of their community. As the crowd erupted in cheers, Emma knew this was just the beginning. Together, they would face whatever storms lay ahead. They had something unbreakable now. The spark of hope ignited into a blazing fire of determination. And as the sun rose higher, they stood together, fearless, ready for whatever came next. But wait, Before you go, listen up. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now. Don't miss exclusive stories that could transform lives just like Emma's. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm and help others find inspiration. I want to hear from you, so comment your thoughts and feelings about this ending. And for the love of community, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Let's spread this message far and wide. Thank you.